Hello everyone, and welcome back to the Crystallina Perspective. And today we are going to be having a Mental Health Monday talk. So basically in this video, in these series of videos, every Monday I'm gonna come tell you guys what's been popping off in my borderline personality head. Now, a lot of people were shocked when I revealed this, but some of you may or may not know July is Minority Mental Health Awareness Month, and for some weird reason we just don't like people to know that we have issues. And I'm here to tell y'all, I am not perfect. I make mistakes, I have issues, and I have borderline personality disorder. Now, do any of those things define 100% who I am? No, they're just small components of what makes me me. And a lot of people think that when you have a mental illness, it's just for attention seeking or whatever the case may be. But most of the time, it's not that. A lot of people have dealt with a ton of things that they aren't going to tell you about. They have been through some things that they're not going to tell you about. And they have experienced some things that they are not going to tell you about. So don't let anyone sit there for any second and make you feel like you're less than because you have some form of a mental health disorder. So in this first video, we are going to discuss basically my journey to being diagnosed with borderline personality disorder. And basically you guys will kind of hear a few snippets in this video of other future videos, and we're just going to talk about it. So if you are interested in this topic, please stay tuned to the video. Okay guys, so I was diagnosed with borderline personality disorder officially in like 2017. The whole process started, however, in 2016, and that year was basically, oh my gosh, a lot. And when I say a lot, I was working for a very known company that I have no problem with representing, Planned Parenthood, and I enjoyed my time there. What I didn't enjoy was the threats, the nasty comments, and just the variety of things that were going on with my form of employment. Now, everyone who works for Planned Parenthood don't perform abortions, and this is my only controversial statement I will make, is none of my business. So what people decide to do with their bodies is 100% their business. I understand people have their opinions, their way that they were raised, their lifestyle, but if we started catering more to us and what's going on in our lives and what we have going on, then we don't have time to worry about everybody else. So that's just my take on it. So when I was working at Planned Parenthood, I was the health educator. I went and I discussed everything from good touch, bad touch, safe sex, how to protect yourself if you're going to have sex, the whole slew. I taught little children to adults. The little children, I talked to them. I taught them about different ways on how to talk to parents, a loved one, a teacher, whomever, just somebody who basically can help them if someone is inappropriately doing something to them. And I also taught them that it's not okay for people to do things that you feel that make you uncomfortable, for lack of a better word. So while I was at the job, I enjoyed it. However, it did come with a lot of stress, a lot of PTSD, a lot of anxiety, and a lot of sadness, simply because so many people are opinionated. They have so many views, and they just automatically just think that you're the world's worst villain type deal. So dealing with that in the earlier portion of 2016 just kind of made things decline for me. I also was very lonely during this time because I did make a transition. I moved from one state to another state completely by myself, and I had no family here. I was in the process of making friends and making my own family in my new location. So that time was a very tough time for me, and I didn't know what was going on. Not to mention how I had other things that happened in my life that caused me, basically those things caused me to be fearful, to have anxiety, to be stressed. There were things that I experienced in my past that I thought I had dealt with, but I hadn't. And a lot of people told me, just pray, it'll get better, And my thing is, disclaimer, I know for a fact that God is real, and I know for a fact that God can do all things. However, God is a man of creation, which means that he created everything on this earth, and he created services and things for us. So he created us to serve our purpose in life, and sometimes that purpose in life include going to the doctor. Just saying. There is nothing wrong with seeing a therapist. There is nothing wrong with seeing a psychiatrist. If you need medication, there is nothing wrong with that. If you have to go stay in a mental institution, nothing wrong with it. I did it, and I was there for a week and a half, and that's going to be another video. But the point I'm trying to make to you guys is that if you feel that something is going that's off with you, and no matter what things you've been doing, if those things aren't helping you, you need help. So for example, if you've been using coping mechanisms or coping skills, if your thing is to go work out, maybe your thing is to read a book, paint, any of those types of things, and you lately have been doing it and it's just not been helping, you still feel uptight, you anxious, your body just hurting, you may hear voices, you may see things, you may feel things, you need help, and that is okay. However, for me in 2016, I didn't think it was okay. I was like, you know what, I ain't crazy. And people that see mental health people are crazy. And I had all these bad misconceptions about mental health. And basically, I just eventually was forced to deal with things that I hadn't dealt with because my mind basically exploded, for a lack of a better word. I broke down so bad to the point to where I tried to kill myself. No, this is not the first time I've tried to kill myself, and this is not the first time I've did any type of self-harm. I've been a cutter before. I did it in high school. I even did it in middle school. I did it in elementary school, which meant that there were some things going on with me that we just basically kind of brushed off. It was like, oh, well, she wants attention. Give her more attention. She'll be fine. So those things rolled over into my adult life, in addition to things that I had going on in my adult life. So in 2016, here I am, basically lost as I don't know what. I'm sad all the time. I'm sleeping like literally 24 hours out the day, not eating, but I'm not gaining weight. So there means that something is wrong. So basically, I checked myself into an outpatient program, and the first diagnosis is, well, she has depression. She has chronic depression, and she has generalized anxiety, and she has PTSD. And my PTSD at the time was from driving. At that time, 2016, I had been in 3 car accidents from 15, 14, and 13. Starting in 2013, I was in a car accident every single year. Dig this. None of those accidents were my fault. So I was fearful. I had anxiety. I was terrified to drive. Getting in a car scared me. If I heard a person's brakes screech, I was freaking out. If it was a lot of traffic, I was freaking out, anxious, nervous, constantly looking up in the rearview mirror, constantly checking my side mirrors, just a wreck. So I basically did what they like to call outpatient therapy. And during this time, I was going to a program because I worked for an organization that was flexible. My supervisor knew what was going on. And I basically worked for a company that allowed me to take care of me because that company knew the extent of work that we did, and they knew how tough it was. So they allowed us time to do what we needed to do to care for ourselves. So basically, I was in an outpatient program in the morning. In the afternoons, I worked from like 1 o'clock, because I would get out the outpatient program at noon. I would work from like 1 o'clock until late in the night, do all my work. And then when I had teaching events, I basically would schedule them for the afternoon. And that wasn't enough. May came of 2016, and at this time, I was living by myself. So my apartment was something like hoarders. Not exaggerating. Thank God I had made friends, and I had friends that checked on me, and they had a key to my apartment, and I had friends back at home that would send me messages that would be like, Crystal, are you good? They would FaceTime me. They would call me. Thank you guys so much for that. If I've never said thank you enough, thank you. I had mentors that were there who were like, it's okay to get help, it's okay. And at this point, I had came up with the ultimate get the hell off this earth plan, lack of a better word. And I didn't understand how a young lady like myself, because at the time I was working on my master's of business administration. I had graduated from college 2 years ago. I was working my dream job, health education, which is what my undergraduate degree is in. It's in health education, health administration. So I was doing what any 20-something-year-old at the time would want to do. I really was. But it wasn't clicking. The things wasn't working. I was just wanting to sleep, not eat. I had dishes, y'all, piled up in my sink, like really high. I had clusters and clusters of stuff everywhere. And I started having panic attacks. So one particular day at my outpatient meetings, because at these outpatient meetings, they basically teach you to use coping skills. They teach you to do things like color and listen to music and read a book and express yourself and feel the feelings and feel the emotions and acknowledge that something is wrong. And I did not like any of it. I was just doing it because my best friend was like, you need to do something. And then I had other best friends in another state that was like, Crystal, we are not there to help you. You need to do something. But I was like, I'm just doing this for them because I'm good. I don't know what they think the problem is. And little did I know, I had a lot of problems. I couldn't invite my friends that weren't in state, my friends that were out of state. I couldn't invite them to the family Tuesday. But every Tuesday of my outpatient program, they had a family Tuesday, and you could bring a family member, and that, or a friend, or a support person. And basically that support person is there to kind of talk about how your growth is at home and blah, blah, blah. Well, I took my best friend. And she basically realized that I was lying in my outpatient program. And I'm gonna be honest with y'all, I was, oh, I feel good today. Today, I feel bright. And I feel happy. And I am grateful for the sun. And I am thankful for my friends that always call and check on me, my parents, and my job. Now, I was grateful for many of those things, but I was lying about how I was feeling. And when my friend saw that I was lying, she went and talked to the nurse and social worker that was over the program. They realized that I had never stopped cutting and that I was a threat to myself. And what do y'all think happened next? Your girl landed a week and a half in a psychiatric hospital on a psychiatric ward tailored to people suffering from depression, bipolar disorder 1 and 2, as well as people who were basically detoxing from some form of a drug. Yeah, knocked it out the park. This facility, and we will talk about it in another video, was very strict. No cell phones, no personal hygiene products, no nothing. You wore socks with the grips on the bottom. You couldn't wear shoes because shoes have shoelaces and you can hang yourself. So I spent a week and a half going through therapy. I did some electrostimulation therapy where basically they make you visualize the most horrific things that have happened to you and you work through them. I was forced to do groups and interact, and it helped. And then I got out. I went back to my outpatient program. I graduated my outpatient program. And then months later, I started exemplifying other symptoms. And then at 1 minute, it was bipolar 1. Then it was bipolar 2 because I was up and down and manic. And I went to really depressive moods. And I start obsessively, compulsively buying things that I did not need. And just spending money and swiping, and just doing the absolute most. I lost jobs. Got fired from jobs because of my mental health. And I was on lithium. I got the blood test every month to make sure that my levels were fine. I experienced lithium toxicity. I had Wellbutrin. I basically took all the drugs in the book and none of them were helping. And then I went to another psychiatrist because the psychiatrist at the hospital I could no longer use because I wasn't a hospital patient. So I had an outside psychiatrist who was an older psychiatrist. And if you're in a small state like what I'm in, being on the psychiatric list is long as heck. But you can get a therapist. I had the most awesome therapist who made me talk about things. But then I got the best psychiatric doctor ever, the best psychiatrist ever, and he basically put the puzzles together. I have borderline personality disorder. That does not mean that my personality splits. That does not mean that I am just this person that's horrible. That doesn't mean that I hear voices, that I see things. That doesn't mean any of those things. That just means that I have dealt with so many things in my life, so I thought I dealt with. That means that I have carried on the burden of my thoughts for so long to the point to where my dopamine in my mind and my serotonin isn't enough to keep me happy. So I go through bouts of woe is me, and I have moments. But you know what? Those moments sometimes are the worst moments. But I've learned to make them just moments instead of a lifetime. So bringing us up to speed to 2019. In 2019, I am an accomplished young professional. I am a 27-year-old, almost 28, who loves traveling, loves makeup, loves baking, and I am a nurse. And I use every inch of compassion and care that I can to help other people to know that it is okay to not be okay. And it is okay to get help. It is okay to be in that dark spot. It is okay to not understand all the pieces. It is okay to get help. And that is what motivated me the most to do these Mental Health Talk Mondays. Simply because I want to encourage that person that's out there that's fearful to go to the doctor because they're going to be placed on some type of psychiatric medication. I want that person to know, you know what? I got to take medication. But you know what? I was brave enough to get help. I was brave enough to continue to chase after my goals and dreams. Because at the end of the day, no matter how you try to make things seem so perfect, they're not. And no matter how you try to brush things off, they're there. So I'm not ashamed of my mental health. I have learned over the years how to deal with it. And I am not my diagnosis at all. I am more than that. And so are you. And so I hope this video was just motivational and encouraging to somebody out there. And there are more videos to come because there are so many things to talk about. And I just don't want this video to be an hour long. Maybe I could do a live one day and just throw it all out there at once. But I'm going to make various videos talking about different things. And this is how I got to my diagnosis of having borderline personality. So I am Nurse Crystallina, the Crystallina Perspective, and I have borderline personality disorder. However, I am not my diagnosis, and I am stronger. And each day I get even more stronger. You want to know why? Because I've learned to use a semicolon and just understand that there's a pause. Semicolon means it's not the end. And I'm here to tell you, it is not the end for you. So please like, comment, subscribe, inbox me, whatever the case may be. I want to hear it, and I am here for you. So until our next video, bye.